Oh, that's fantastic. That's a perfect combo.
So, okay, well, it looks like now we're live on YouTube. Apparently, YouTube decided not to put us live. So now we're live. Let's bring the graphics back up. Welcome, everybody. My name's Chris Graham alongside Patrick Byrne. Not sure why YouTube didn't go live on us there on time, but qualifications are just about wrapped up here. Andrew Moore Jr. will be your pole sitter for tonight's 150-lap feature at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We were just talking about this before we got the message, the notification that YouTube had not gone live yet. Couple of big charity things that are going on this week that we want to bring attention to. The first is Driven to Save Lives, driven2savelives.org. Considered organ and tissue donation. Head on over to the website. Just a ton of fantastic work being done by the Indiana Donor Network. Also, our friends at the Weather Center who are presenting our weather forecast for the evening. In fact, we could probably show that to you right now. Well, if the guy hitting the buttons hits the right button. Anyway. 79-degree ambient temperature, 50% humidity. Wind's going to be out of the west at 5 miles an hour. 98-degree track temp. That's going to be a scorcher here tonight, Patrick. But our friends at the Weather Center collecting all sorts of relief supplies for the people of Kentucky. Just absolutely incredible work that is going on out there. So check that one out. KY, like the state abbreviation, ky.theweathercenter.com. And if you're curious about it, drop us a line in the comments, and we'll get you a little bit more information afterwards. But it's time to go racing here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the starting grid. They will be led to the green by Mr. Andrew Moore Jr. out of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Will Wersler going to line up to his outside? Only 11 thousandths of a second back. Mike McConville and Max Williams on row number 2. New series champion Johnny Avila and Troy Haight on row number 3. Brad Allison, Kevin Dick on row 4. Hunter Waters and Tim Knott on row number 5. AJ Digby, Tyler Seville on row 6. Row 7 will have Richard Fletcher and Richard Smith II. All alone, excuse me, I guess we will have 2 cars on row number 8. Daniel Pinkston and Corbin Simmons rounding out tonight's 16-car field. Well, we only had 15, but 16 cars scheduled to take the grid. They're going to get ready to roll off here into turns 3 and 4. We'll give you all the details on this one once we get going green, but as always, race fans, the start of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series is going to be all yours. Oh, buddy, how about Johnny Avila? He's down on the apron 3 wide off of 2. We usually give you more than that, but holy cow.
That's one thing I love about NASCAR. There's no discussions about track limits, except at Daytona and Talladega. If it's paved, you can use it.
Yeah, Johnny Avila went after it on lap number 1.
He's still going down there. He knows this track is hot and it's going to eat tires, right?
That sort of has me a little bit worried there for Johnny Avila. We'll look a little bit further back in the pack. Pick up Hunter Waters. Fastest pickle in the South there at car number 7. Trying to hold off the 52 with the newlywed, Mr. Kevin Dick. Johnny Avila going to work here, though, on Max Williams. Is Avila going to go full send into turn 1? No, he backs it off just a little bit. Let's give you a little bit of detail on tonight's race here. We'll start with the championship battle, and it is all Johnny Avila at this point. 64 up on Andrew Moore Jr. He basically can't be caught. He would have to, not show up and not perform well and everything else, and get a bunch of help. in order for Andrew Moore to catch him. But with only 17 or 16 cars in tonight's field, I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Tyler Seville, Will Wersler, Max Williams, the top 5 in the point standings. Here is We Work race number 13. Oh, we got one car going around. We'll see if it brings out a caution flag. And it will. So we'll pull the graphics back here. Caution on the racetrack early on, and this one will be for Brad Allison. Going for a spin in turns 3 and 4. Just the tiniest bit too much throttle on quarter exit. And that's what a really hot track temperature will do there, Patrick.
Yeah, it'll burn off that right front. It'll burn off that right rear. Hell, you'll even start wearing the left side tires, and that's almost unheard of in oval racing.
Yeah, it has the potential to get very ugly here. Mike McConville said these guys are going to be terrified tonight when we talk to him in the pre-race. Definitely something for these drivers to be concerned about. Here for race number 13 of the 2022 spring season. We'll say spring and summer season for the Sim Racer Club. 150 laps is the distance, as you saw at the top of the screen. Stage breaks are going to be at lap 30 and lap 70. The caution flag is going to fly at lap number 30. And here's where that becomes interesting. You can go 75 to 85 laps on fuel. So theoretically, should be a one-stop strategy. Nobody is going to pass up the opportunity to take tires here at lap number 30, which means we're looking at a 2-stop race and about a 40-lap stint or so at the end of this thing. Oh man, that could be iffy for some of these guys. No backup cars are available as always. Kind of gives you the full rundown on what we got going on here tonight. Let's check in the comments while we have a minute under the caution flag here. Miss Nikki Wersler checking in. Good evening, ma'am. Come on, WWR. Kind of a homer thing, though. Cheering for hubby's team there. Douglas Mullins checking in saying, hey-o. What's up, Doug? Hopefully you're enjoying the show here. Taking a look, and we have AJ Digby, Richard Smith, and Corbin Simmons on the pit lane. Digby's playing the fuel game. No, I don't think they took tires. I think Digby's playing the fuel game. Short stop at lap number 30 under the caution flag. Shorten up the time you got to spend in the box.
I don't think it's going to matter, though, because you're still taking 4 tires. You're still there waiting for the tires.
That's true.
It's not like sports car racing where you got to wait for the tires to be done for the fuel to go in, or vice versa. I don't know which one they do first, but we do them at the same time here stateside.
Yes. Well, IMSA does them separately as well, but all right.
Well,
we'll let you go on that one.
IMSA plays by Europe rules, so even though it's a NASCAR series, but it's confusing.
Almost as confusing as sports car racing in general. Field's going to get ready to go back to green. They are doubled up. Let's see if Johnny Avila is going to go way deep into turn number 1.
Well, if he does, that'd be a silver
Wersler
driver move. If he doesn't, that's a bronze driver move.
Oh, that's epic. Avila not onto the apron, but he is going to be battling with Andrew Moore Jr. off of turn number 2. Almost a little bit of contact there. Will Wersler going to hold on to the race lead. This side-by-side battle for third is going to be a good one through 3 and 4. I'm a little bit surprised here, Patrick. I would have thought the higher lane would have been the lane of choice here early on in this.
Me too. Although you could be worried about the guy on the bottom pushing you up higher than you want to be. Like we said in the pre-race, that third groove is the optimal groove here. Anything higher, it's just too long to make up any speed. Anything lower, there's not enough banking to get the car to turn without killing your tires. That third line is perfect.
Very Indianapolis Raceway Park-esque in that respect. Actually, Oxford Plains Speedway is a good bit like that as well here on the iRacing platform.
No,
You gotta. Or which one am I? Or is it Thompson that I'm thinking of? Thompson, Stafford, one of them. You gotta run
Thompson.
the high line. Yeah, Thompson. You gotta run the high line there.
I was going to say, Oxford Plains, if you're not launching the left side over those light posts, you're not running low enough.
90210 checking in. I feel like I'm in a fever dream. You alright there, bud? I know it's been a little while since we've heard from you, but...
What was it, the IMSA stuff and the bronze driver, silver driver joke? I'm sorry.
Patrick Byrne making brains explode, and we're only 12 laps into this one here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, just wait. We're not even a 10th of the way into this thing. I'll make it explode.
Staying away from it. Andrew Moore Jr. falling backwards through the field here. Little bit surprising that we're going to see him fall back like this. However, he was very quick in practice, and it almost makes you wonder, is there some kind of a tire conservation strategy that's going on?
I would hope so. I don't see any other way how you're winning this thing. Tires are going to fall off very, very quickly, so if you can keep your head in the fight, but not up there dogging it out, as soon as those guys burn their stuff off, you're going to drive past them. You might be able to even wave a finger out the window as you're passing them, saying hi. Telling them they're number one.
Oh, we have breaking news. Oh, wait, hold up. Caution flag is out. Trouble on the racetrack for Richard Fletcher. The cartoon anvil strikes again.
This looks like he bobbled a little bit on entry and tried to make up for it getting to the gas.
Oh, early. They were slowing up in front of him. Daniel Pinkston in the 22. The 23 of Richard Smith. Looks like Fletcher just grabbed the binder, slows it down. But unfortunately, that will bring out the caution flag here once again. We work lap number 15. Second caution of the night. Breaking news on Twitter. 90210, I will let you all know, hot off the presses, I won't be driving for Alpine in 2023.
What? Their tweet this morning said you would!
How
has this happened to two major teams in two of the top series in the world in a span of like 2 weeks?
I think Pato Award won Twitter this morning saying, is this Groundhog Day or deja vu all over again?
Who was it that announced they were going to be driving for someone in response to that today?
Good question. I don't remember. I saw the tweet.
There was one I laughed at. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, 90210 is saying 2 words. Zach Brown. Yes, Albon. Putting out a tweet that, yes, he does have a confirmed deal for Williams and he will be back with Williams next year. Only for him to probably be fired this offseason.
That'd be just the icing on the cake.
So down to 135 laps to go here as the field makes their way through 3 and 4. Nobody electing to come down pit lane. Not really a surprise there either, Patrick. With only a couple of sets of tires in the box, you really have to be judicious in how you use them, and if possible, maybe even try to save one for late in this race.
You're definitely going to want to save one to the end. I can almost definitely predict a late race caution. Which means now that I've said it, we're not going to get one, but...
That is correct.
Still,
and
you never know.
And the other kind of big one is they do have 3 sets in the box tonight. So you'll make one, take one at the lap 30 stop, take one at your next and final fuel stop, and it'll still leave you a set in the box. Nikki Wersler saying, I missed it. Daniel not going to Alpine? No. It was another instance of a team announcing that a driver was driving for them, and the driver saying, no, I'm not.
Now, while we're on the topic of F1, let's talk about the Denver Broncos.
Yes, Lewis Hamilton, now a minority partner in the ownership group of the Denver Broncos. We'll get back to that story in just a minute here, but green flag's out, lap number 18 on the board. Much better start for Johnny Avila than Andrew Moore Jr. had. Avila going to be down inside of Mike McConville. I don't think there's a chance that Daniel Ricciardo goes to Alpine, by the way.
Oh, he's going to go to the New York Jets.
He'll be playing starting quarterback for your JETS Jets.
They might actually win something.
They might. Andrew Moore Jr. inside of Max Williams. Oh, buddy. Hunter Waters almost into the back of Mike McConville through 1 and 2.
To all you Jets fans getting triggered out there, I'm a Browns fan, so just save your hate.
Oh, man. 90210. Why'd he pick the Broncos, though? If he wanted to invest in a mediocre team, he could have bought into the Carolina Panthers.
Hey, hang on. Now, I've got a hunch here. I've already got my bets placed on the Broncos winning the Super Bowl this year. When Hamilton moved to Mercedes, everyone thought he was nuts, and why move to a mediocre team? They won, what, 7, 8 years in a row?
That is correct.
I might be superstitious here, but he's moved to the Broncos, so my money's already on him. I've got a $10 long shot going to the Super Bowl this year as soon as the betting opens.
That will pay $1.05 billion, by the way, before tax.
That's why I'm doing it. Yeah, it'll only pay $463 million after taxes.
Johnny Avila getting around Will Wersler. Hunter Waters thought about diving inside of Mike McConville. How about Will Wersler back down to the inside of the racetrack? Ooh, a little twitchy on corner exit, though. Johnny Avila is going to disappear into that good night. Slide back a little bit. Andrew Moore going to work on Hunter Waters. Or, excuse me, on Max Williams, not Hunter Waters. Hunter Waters is the one having a look inside of Mike McConville. I am a little surprised they're racy, but maybe not, because we're down to 8, 9 laps to go here in stage 1.
Yeah, everyone knows there's fresh tires coming here in just a handful of laps, so if you saved your stuff, now's the time to push, because you're getting fresh rubber anyway. These tires are going to be junk after this, so why not spend them?
Yeah,
they're worth more when you sell them to fans with the cords showing.
Smoke them if you got them, I guess. Oh, and the caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Third caution of stage number 1. And this one's going to come out for Richard Smith II. Big dive down to the inside. And just a little bit too much in the middle of the corner. Slides to a stop. And that brings out the caution flag.
Now, one thing I love about iRacing, he put it in reverse, and it completely swapped the drivetrain of that car. Did you see that thing spinning the front tires and the back tires stayed still?
No, I did not see that, but it might be worth another look at the instant replay here.
It's like they just flipped the drivetrain around.
Okay. Car comes to a stop, grabs reverse. Oh, that was awesome. Fantastic catch there, Patrick.
I was looking at that going, something ain't right here. Now iRacing is going to give us a bunch of hush money, and they're going to patch that tomorrow morning.
Oh, great comment from 90210. So that's how TCR works. Yes. Grip hacked in full effect on the car there of Richard Smith. Or was that Fletcher? No, it was Richard Smith.
So I was screwing around with the Porsche 911 Cup car today, and in my screwing around, I decided to take a lap at Sebring in reverse. And it completely hit me that it was now a front-engine, front-wheel drive car. I started driving it like a TCR. It's actually a blast to drive in reverse. Like, it actually works because it's a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car. I think we need to have a special event where you're only allowed to drive in reverse the entirety of the race.
Speaking of special events, we're going to have another one. It may be part of the TNT Special Events series. We haven't had one of those in a while, and I think we might need to. A Stoops Pursuit race. The midgets, dirt midgets at Kokomo, and we'll follow it up with something ridiculous. Like COTs at iRacing Super Speedway or something. The way a Stoops Pursuit works is if you get past or cause a caution flag, you're done.
Yes, every 5 laps, a caution comes out. If in those 5 laps you were passed, you're done. Race over, pack it up, you go home.
Yeah. Could you imagine that at like a plate track like Daytona or Talladega or iRacing Super Speedway?
Oh, that would be so much fun.
That would be insanity.
You wouldn't make it the 5 laps before you had to throw the caution.
Green flag back in the air. Johnny Avila gets the good jump. Will Wersler going to hold on down to the inside of the racetrack through the 1 and 2 end. Man, how about it, though? Mike McConville getting a little bit of juiced up down there on the bottom. He's going to tuck back in line behind Hunter Waters. We're just a couple of laps away from the stage break. In fact, it'll be 3 to go this time by the start-finish line. Johnny Avila out to, we'll call it an 8-car length lead over Will Wersler and Hunter Waters as they're still side-by-side through 1 and 2. Conville all over the rear deck lid of Hunter Waters. Oh man, they're still side by side, just back behind him as well. Max Williams up to the outside of Kevin Dick. Tyler Seville inside, 3 wide into 3.
That didn't last long because these guys, unlike most guys on iRacing, actually have brains and don't want to wreck their race cars.
That is correct.
At least not this early in the race. You talk to these guys lap 140, they unbolt that brain, throw it out the window, and it's full send, let's get the checkers. But, you know,
big slide by Tyler Seville!
He saved it!
What a save by Tyler Seville!
There's no way that thing was pointed straight at the wall!
Green and white checkered in the air. Johnny Avila gets the win in stage number 1 over Will Wersler, Hunter Waters, Mike Conville, Andrew Moore Jr. And that will bring out the caution flag. Let's get this comment in real quick before we get to the pit stops here at the end of the stage.
I'd like to see a replay of that.
We will. 90210 saying, so it requires front-wheel drive cars. Can I race a 78 Oldsmobile Tornado or a Cadillac Eldorado? Because they're front-wheel drive with a big block V8.
I've got a big word for both of you guys, because you both got it wrong. It's the Toronado, not Tornado.
Oh, whatever.
Just saying.
I was good enough for government work.
500 cubic inch V8 engine mounted to a rear-wheel drive transmission, but the thing was so far forward in the car that they were able to put the differential just in the front axle. It's a fantastic piece of engineering. I'm not sure if they used a V-drive or not, but I mean, you have a hood that's 25 feet long. You could fit anything up there.
Take a look as the field makes their way down pit lane. Johnny Avila will lead the parade down. for the first of likely 2 pit stops here for the evening. And as soon as these guys are done on pit lane, we will... Well, timing and scoring is going ballistic with everybody passing. There we go. Now I can... We are going to absolutely pick up the save for Tyler Seville. Oh, buddy. Couple of 2-tire changes.
What?
Oh, this is insanity. Unless it was... Wait a minute. Was it fuel only? Time of the stop for Richard Fletcher. Well, okay. Fletcher stopped at lap number 24 along with AJ Digby.
Now, can we get a replay of their pit stops and see if the jacks ever went up?
We could. I would have to go hunting for those, but yeah.
Or, even easier, why don't we just pull them into the booth and ask them?
Yeah. You know what? Go ahead, Patrick, if you can handle that one, I'm going to get us ready to go and squared back up here for... well, no, maybe not, because we're down to... we're getting ready to go back green here, but... Interesting strategy games. Fletcher and Digby on row 1, Kevin Dick, Richard Smith II on row 2. Then it's going to be Johnny Avila and Will Wersler. They won the race off of pit road. Hunter Waters, Andrew Moore Jr., Max Williams, Troy Haight rounding out your top 10. Very, very interesting. We're going to see some stuff here. Field makes their way off of turn number 4. Y'all at home, go ahead and crank it up. Kevin Dick down to the inside of Fletcher. Avila thought about making it 3-wide. Big dive by Will Wersler. He's all the way down to the apron.
Where's he going? Straight to the front, that's where. Ah, maybe not. He got caught out on exit.
Fly job! Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, I wonder if it wasn't more a call for track position here, Patrick. Whether it was 2 tires or no tires, Will Wersler, Johnny Avila are having to pick their way car by car through this field. Oh, and Hunter Waters is up into the outside retaining wall.
I believe that's Fletcher.
Oh, that was, yeah, Fletcher. Fletcher in the 43 slides up into the outside safer barrier in 1 and 2. Man, action all over this racetrack. Last week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, we were backwards and on fire for the win. Wonder if we're going to see some of that here at New Hampshire.
I was going to say, I would not predict that for New Hampshire, but after the way these guys have been racing, I wouldn't count it out.
Already 8 laps into stage number 2. The next one will end at lap number 70, but it will not have a caution flag. And quite frankly, that sort of sets this up, Patrick, to be a lot more of a strategy game from here on out. When do you make that final stop? Because you can't go 100 laps on a tank of fuel.
Depends how late can you make it. I am not usually a fan of the overcut, but I think tonight I'd put my money on the overcut. You want to take that stop as late as possible. As long as you can stay on the lead lap, keep yourself up towards the front. This way, that last run can just be full send. Don't have to worry about the tires or nothing. Just keep your foot to the floor and pray.
Will Wersler back to the race lead over Hunter Waters. Kevin Dick, Johnny Avila still battling it out into turn 1. 90210 checking in saying, so Clint Boyer was in the race last week. That's harsh.
Cool.
Choosing violence. By the way, fantastic video. I don't know if it was NASCAR Man or Black Flags Matter, one of the YouTube channels, doing a video called Upside Down and on Fire, Clint Boyer's story.
I mean,
they're not wrong. They are not wrong. Troy Haight looking inside of AJ Digby. He's going to get the pass made, and Digby already falling back to the 6th position. Max Williams going to be able to have a look inside as well. It is an interesting strategy call by AJ Digby. At this point, though, Digby falling back to 8th.
it was definitely a strategy call, but I don't know if it's the right strategy or if he has a strategy. Maybe it wasn't a strategy call. Maybe he just forgot to check the box for tires.
Well, it's always a possibility. Digby has been so good at fuel mileage races. And quite frankly, he got fantastically lucky making a hard left-hand turn at the right time 1 week ago in Atlanta to pick up the win. Did not inside of Mike McConville. McConville going to fall back to the 12th position.
Wait, I know Digby's strategy. He didn't take tires, so he'd fall back. And then us, the commentator, would talk about how he's falling back and how bad he's doing. This way we commentator curse him into winning the race.
That's an interesting thought process. I don't think that's exactly how it worked. I could be wrong, though. I've commentator cursed a lot of people on iRacing.
I was going to say, maybe he's noticed that, and he's trying to, do a reverse commentator curse.
Maybe. Andrew Moore, Kevin Dick, they're going to continue to fight. A little bit further back here, Digby and Tim Knott going to battle as well. Knott down to the inside of the racetrack. I'll tell you what, I almost feel like there's a little bit of a strategy call going on here as well for Mike McConville. Try to save as much of the tire as you possibly can. You know you're going to get one more stop. Based on when they made their first stop, let's see. Lap 107 to lap 117 or so. That's kind of the ballpark.
Yeah, that would almost be where I would want to pit anyway, because that gives you 30 laps, just over 30 laps on that last set of tires. As long as you can keep yourself on the lead lap, that basically gives you full send to the end of the race.
Yeah, and if you're Digby and McConville, and especially more Mike McConville, maybe you save a little bit here. Stay tagged in at the back end of the field. Just kind of keep an eye on where the leaders are in terms of raw pace. Don't go a lap down. And really, maybe you can eke out an extra handful of laps. If you know the cliff is at lap 25, maybe you could stretch the run out to 85 laps or 90 laps or something crazy like that. Andrew Moore Jr. thought about the look inside of Max Williams. He's going to try it again here into turn 3. I would call that a little bit of a soft slider, maybe. A little bit more of Max Williams coming down towards the exit of the corner, but Andrew Moore Jr. able to clear. That's going to put him up into the 5th position. Only other real battle on the racetrack right now is going to be here, a little bit deeper in the pack. Kevin Dick, Tim Knott, Mike McConville, AJ Digby all hanging out together. This is going to be 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th on the racetrack.
And here we get into our usual New Hampshire race, where it's a bit of a grind until someone either gets desperate to make a move or the pit stops start happening. This is almost the fun part of New Hampshire as a driver, just because you're going around and you're more focused on hitting your marks than anything else. It's almost like a road course, yet you're only turning left.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those places that you just kind of have to settle in and log a bunch of laps. And there really is no other alternative to it. Hang out, don't abuse your stuff, and make sure you're there at the end of the run. Will Wersler holding on to about a 2-second gap over Hunter Waters and Johnny Avila, but these two are starting to get close. Just past the 1/3 distance mark here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Still one more race coming up next week for the Sim Racing Club. Actually, no. Let me just confirm this on the schedule. Yes, August 10th, coming up at the Pocono Raceway. 70-lap run. Yes, and 2 tires set in the pits next week. $20 up for grabs in total purse money, which has been the case all year with a couple of exceptions. Custom Paints and Diecast putting up an extra $10 for the Charlotte race here in Season 1. They're going to do it again for the Bristol Night Race on October 12th. So a big thank you to Custom Paints and Diecast for that support. Also have a couple other sponsors that we want to shout out here as well. SimSpeedShop.com putting up a button box going out to the champion driver. That will be Johnny Avila in this case, and a darn good looking button box at that. Overall champion, season champion, going to receive a NASCAR style wheel. Really impressive. Big time prizes going out the door courtesy of SimSpeed.com. Northland Leisure putting up some cash for the stage winners. Realty Executives Saskatoon putting up money for the fast lap. That is currently being held by Will Wersler at a 30.636 second lap. Custom Paints and Diecast also putting up cash sponsors for the Hard Charger and Biggest Loser awards of the night. Right now, the biggest loser is Mike McConville, but currently we think playing a bit of strategy here. Running back in the 12th position, he is down 9. Your hard charger of the race, Hunter Waters. They're in the 7 in the Hunter's Fried Pickles Chevrolet Camaro. Hunter up 7 from where he started the race.
Now, is that his fried pickle company?
I don't know.
I mean,
good question.
I'm just gonna say I'd order some fried pickles.
I'm
actually
we could go through a bunch of fried pickles in this house.
I was gonna say I'm allergic to pickles, but that don't stop me. Fried pickles, they go down.
You have the eating habits of a 12-year-old.
What do you mean?
Chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese are the staples of the Patrick Byrne diet.
No, I don't eat macaroni and cheese. I don't do dairy.
Oh no, that's right. He does not eat dairy. I forgot.
I eat sushi though. Show me a 12-year-old that eats sushi. As Johnny Avila goes for the move on Hunter Waters.
Yes, Avila having the big look down inside off turn number 2. I'll tell you what, great drive off the corner though. That sort of goes back to what you were talking about a little bit ago, Patrick. That third line is really where you need to be. You can try to run the inside lane, but you're just not going to have the momentum off the corner. Try to get any higher up the racetrack, and you're going to lose even more ground.
Yeah, you get higher, and sure you'll get the run on exit, but you're going to lose it all in the entry of the corner, and you're just going to be making up ground down the straightaway. So you have to run that middle as Johnny Avila has to take evasive action.
Hunter Waters got a little bit loose off of turn 2. Avila dives way to the inside, and now he knows he's got to get this pass made, as we've got one car.
Someone spun out.
Spinning down into that was the race leader. That was Will Wersler. Spinning down to the inside of the racetrack. Get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Just a little bit too much throttle on corner exit. And Will Wersler just about goes around, but it's going to put Johnny Avila up to the race lead. Another fantastic save out of the Sim Racers Club. We've now had 2 tonight. Tyler Seville and Will Wersler getting the job done. Great corner exit speed that time for Hunter Waters. Has to back off it though. You run that inside lane, you got to grab a little bit more brake. And I'll tell you what, Patrick, if we're in a situation where the leaders are starting to see the tire wear come into play, this could be sitting right up Mike McConville's alley.
Yeah, he's kind of just hanging back there, but he's not out of this fight yet. He's still on the lead lap. Actually, it looks like every car in the field is still on the lead lap.
Yeah, everybody's on the lead lap. And don't count out AJ Digby. He is currently 40 laps into his stint.
No, I told you what he's trying to do.
If this stays green, Digby will be pitting in about another 30 laps or so. That's going to put him right on the screws to make the end of this race if we go green the rest of the way. It is a massive swing at the undercut. But it's definitely going to be one to... Yeah, I'd say it's going to be one to watch as this race goes on.
Especially if he gets a lucky caution right as he comes out of the pit box, caution flag comes out, he's set.
Oh, man, what a battle for the lead here. Oh, man, Hunter Waters did bounce it off the wall that time. Troy Hayden able to get down to the inside, see if he slides up at all. Oh, buddy, Andrew Moore Jr. almost with some right side romance on the 7. iRacing crew chief in Hunter Waters' ear. You've knocked your wheels out of alignment. I pull off pit road, and the crew chief tells me my wheels are out of alignment. Tell you what, Will Wersler really
Well,
falling back through the field here. You
But
almost
when you
wonder.
when you race on the hardware that you do, your wheels are never in alignment. Your wheel is older than I am. It's telling the left front to turn right and the right front to turn left.
That's possible. And I'll tell you what, looking at Will Wersler sliding back through the field here, this is going to be interesting to watch because we're seeing heavy tire degradation start to come into play here. Some of these drivers, they may have to stop twice. Oh, Andrew Moore Jr. spins off of 4. That's going to bring out the caution flag. And we are down to 81 laps to go. Should be about 77 or so when we go back to green. Oh, is this going to be tight on fuel? And quite frankly, not the yellow that AJ Digby wanted to see. His strategy kind of relied on this race playing out all the way to the end. Take a look here. See what happened to Andrew Moore Jr. He was way up the racetrack. Oh, man, the car just starts to turn out on him on corner exit. Little kiss on the left rear, little kiss on the left front. Doesn't look like there would be a ton of damage on that race car, but probably enough to necessitate some work in the pit area. And we will have everybody coming down pit road. They only went about 38 laps on the stint. And we have 79 laps to go right now. This is going to be tough. These guys are going to be struggling here if this is their final pit stop of the race. Race leader Troy Haight will be one of the first to hit his box down at the turn 1 end of pit road. Haight is down and away. Waters down and away. Tyler Seville down. Looks like it's going to be Troy Haight, followed by Hunter Waters, Johnny Avila, and Tyler Seville making their way off the pit lane. And we have one car that didn't stop. New leader, Daniel Pinkston. Pinkston in the 22. We'll see. It looks like he will come down this time. But he'll get the credit for the lap led. There's Troy Haight coming across the start-finish line, so he will be your race leader. And we are already getting doubled up here with nobody a lap down. Kind of puts you in a position where the cautions can actually be kind of quickie yellows in a respect. You just don't have to have the extra lap for the lap down cars to fit.
It's always nice when that happens. Either that or there's an admin in there who can't stand cautions like I do. So just nobody has to pit. Great. We're going 1 to green this time.
Yes, you can definitely shorten the races up. That's for sure. Troy Haight, Johnny Avila going to be on row 1. Hunter Waters, Tyler Seville on row number 2. Be Brad Allison and Will Wersler on row 3. Max Williams and AJ Digby on row 4. Mike McConville, Tim Knott on row 5. Great restart for Troy Haight. He's going to have Hunter Waters only about a car length back as they get to 1. He'll be side by side with Johnny Avila.
Hunter Waters absolutely going for it there.
And I'll tell you what, Patrick, with still having one set of tires in the box, it kind of makes me wonder where the thought process comes into play of if we get another yellow at lap 100, do you come down pit lane or do you try to save those tires for a stop maybe at more like 40 to go?
I would want to save him for 40 to go just because my number in my head is 37 laps or so I want in that last set of tires. So 40 goes close enough, you can forget about those 3 other laps. This way you can be full set in that whole stint and not have to worry about it, as long as you don't overheat the tires.
Mike McConville, Brad Allison doing battle here through 1 and 2. Just up ahead, Will Wersler coming around Tyler Seville. That was the fight for the 4th position. This is one of the things that to the casual observer, it looks like only a couple of cars are side by side and really battling hard. The reality is every one of these drivers is doing pretty heavy throttle manipulation and really trying to work their way through the run, deciding when is it time to push, when is it time to lay off. This isn't worth it to fight right now, but maybe it is a lap or 2 later. There's a ton going on behind the wheel of these race cars.
Yeah, even if someone's not battling right now, you don't know what's going on inside their head. They could be sitting back, laying back, and kind of saving their stuff. Maybe at the end of this run, we see them put the pedal to the metal and go flying through the field.
We have a new race leader, Hunter Waters, coming around the 28 of Troy Haight. He picked up the lead there on the 78th lap around the racetrack. Waters has led 5 laps, as has Troy Haight. Johnny Avila, 21. Will Wersler's led the most at 38. AJ Digby leading a couple, Andrew Moore Jr. and Richard Fletcher also getting a couple of laps. Something that's really interesting to me, Patrick, is it doesn't look like there's a lot of heavy fuel saving going on right now. Qualifying lap time for Hunter Waters, 30.768. His 5-lap average, 30.970. That's not taking much off in terms of raw pace out of the car as Troy Haight's going to try the move down to the inside of the racetrack. It really is, at least at this point in the run, they're still pushing pretty hard early on.
Yeah, which makes me think they all have another pit stop kind of planned. They know when they're going to take it.
Yeah, it's really one of those deals almost like you know you're going to get a caution at about 37 to 40 laps or so. Or at least that's what you're planning on anyway. And just try to, instead of trying to make the tires last the rest of the run, you're really only trying to get that number of laps out of them. Mike McConville inside of Johnny Avila. Will Wersler inside of Troy Haight through 1 and 2. That's your top 5. Tyler Seville not too far back either. Big save by McConville off of 2. My goodness, we're only 11 laps into this run. And we are already seeing massive tire degradation. Do we have any updates from the BC39 there, Patrick? I would imagine hot laps are done probably into the heat racing by this time.
It looks like the feature is starting right now.
Wow. Tubes Pursuit race going on at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Which, by the way, how spectacular is that? A dirt track in the infield of Turn 3 at IMS?
When I went to Indy last year, I had no idea that there was even a dirt track there. I was kind of sitting there because I bought seats in Turn 4, looking over towards Turn 3 going, what the hell is that? Why do they got catch fencing there on the infield? Lo and behold, somebody built the dirt track there, and it's freaking fantastic.
Yeah, kudos to Doug Bowles, Roger Penske, and the entire IMS staff.
I will say the green flag just waved, and Emerson Axum, it looks like he's taken out of this. There's big wreck like Turn 3.
Not good. Emerson's junked some big time wreck.
I was gonna say, I first heard his name at the Chili Bowl this year. Actually, at the whatever one comes for the Tulsa Shootout. When in the feature, he flipped the thing like 16 times down the front stretch.
Yeah, Emerson was a standout in the 600 micro sprint ranks. Now moving himself up the food chain, as is Will Wersler. Nicky's going to be excited over there. Will Wersler, new race leader, back to the front of the field. I'll tell you what, the car is strong. At this point, it's just a matter of keeping those tires underneath. That, to me, Patrick, might be the single biggest difference between sim racing and real-world driving. There is absolutely no seat of the pants feel that comes from driving that race. Unless you're in one of those $100,000 high-end simulators or something, you really can't feel what the race car is doing. It's more taking audible cues and what the force feedback is giving.
I would not disagree with you. However, having better hardware definitely helps. Now, I know guys who run on hardware that's older than I am and still fast. They don't even run force feedback. And I know guys who have $10,000 sim racing setups, and I still wreck them in the second race of a Tuesday Night Thunder series. The good drivers are still going to be fast, but having better hardware, you do get some of that seat in pants feel. Like, I have a base shaker I just hooked up. It, as I call it, the assometer. That is my assometer. That feeds information right into the seat. And I can kind of feel when I'm running over the curbs a little too much, when the back tires starting to squeak, because with the wheel, the main disadvantage of it, of only having your force feedback there, is most of your information is off the front tires. Which is great, but that's only half of the car. So having a little bit of that vibration in the seat of your pants, I guess, the assometer, really gives you the other half. And I feel just as confident in the sim now as I do driving my real car through the mountain roads in the Poconos or driving my kart.
Interesting. I would not think that a base shaker and that kind of stuff would make that big of a difference. Sounds like it will.
It's not perfect. Obviously, I'm not getting thrown back into the seat with multiple G's and getting shaken all around. But if... Oh, man!
Oh, right as we cut to him, Kevin Dick goes sideways. Oh, big contact! He gets drilled twice. Andrew Moore Jr., and it looks like Max Williams. Oh, tough break for Kevin Dick.
But yeah, the base shaker, just like your force feedback, if you know what cues to kind of listen and feel for, invaluable information you're getting there.
Down into turn number 1, middle of the corner. Car just starts to step around. Wow, what a drive from Tyler Seville. Yeah, that was Max Williams.
Can we all get an onboard of that? It almost feels like he downshifted through that. It was just a bad downshift that set the car loose.
We can absolutely take a look.
No, no shift.
Wow. Oh. Almost had it saved. And now, with us sitting right about 56, 57 laps to go, we're going to see a couple of cars come down pit lane. Andrew Moore, obviously one of them. Max Williams, Kevin Dick as well. AJ Digby and Richard Smith II both down pit lane, as is Corbin Simmons. Daniel Pinkston will get the wave around. Again, interesting strategy call here. AJ Digby electing to take the final set of tires that he had in the box. Well, unless he didn't take them at that first stop, in which case he still has an extra set. See, we can't find AJ here to talk to. AJ Digby, Chris Graham up in the booth. You have a copy on us?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, bud. We're trying to figure out here. Do you still have a set of tires left in your pit box?
Can I say yes without making the rest of my race detrimental? Yes, well, I have one set.
Okay, I would say you're allowed to lie to us. Crew chiefs do it all the time.
We're supposed to lie to us.
Yeah, it's so that means you didn't take tires on that first pit stop. If you still have a set available, you didn't take tires on the first pit stop. It's an interesting strategy call here because you're going to have significantly newer tires than everybody else in front of you. How do you work your way through the field here in a place that can be a little tough to pass?
I think I'm going to do it pretty cautiously, try to let the pack spread out a little bit before kind of making any moves. I don't need to get it all right away. I am not great at New Hampshire, so I knew a strategy play was kind of needed, and all those yellows at the beginnings helped me to save some tire, so then I had enough tire that I didn't have to take it on that first stage break. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good now that I'm in a position where I have fresh tires and still have another set with the rest of the crew, but I also don't want to overrun it here because who knows what'll happen. So I still got, if it does stay green to the end, I got 55 laps and I have the freshest tires on the field, so I can take my time.
All right, bud. Good luck the rest of the way here. We appreciate you checking in with us, and there you go. It's a strategy call. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it pays off for him. Coming back to the restart, Will Wersler and Hunter Waters on row number 1. Johnny Avila, Mike Conville on row 2. Tyler Seville, Troy Haight on row 3. Tim Knott, Brad Allison on row 4. Richard Fletcher, Corbin Simmons, row 5. Green flags in the air. We are back underway. The 3 Will Wersler cars here at the front of the field, all playing nice together. Hunter Waters way close down there on Johnny Avila as they get off the corner, slide back a little bit here. Tyler Seville got a mirror full of Tim Knott. Troy Haight, oh, way inside of McConville. Big dive there. Johnny Avila inside of Will Wersler. These two have done battle multiple times this season. Oh, very tight off of turn number 4. Wersler able to hold on to the race lead. And it will be lap 100 going up on the board next time by. Tough break for Kevin Dick. Looks like he will be out of this race. Max Williams with an extended amount of time on pit road. Back in the pack a little ways here, we'll pick up Andrew Moore Jr., Richard Smith II, and A.J. Digby. Digby on those fresher tires. Setting about slow and methodically picking off the rest of the field as we are down to 50 laps to go here at New Hampshire. Digby able to get inside of Moore off at 2. He's going to go 2 for 1 down the back straightaway as he'll be inside of Richard Smith. Pick up the battle here for Troy Haight and Tyler Seville. This is the fight for the 5th position. I'll tell you what, Patrick, this is, if you're AJ Digby, this is kind of that window where maybe you do want a caution to come out. Almost everybody else is going to come down and take tires, and you're going to cycle through to the lead on similar-ish life tire.
And that's not a bad thing, and you'll be able to go up there and kind of keep pace.
Yeah, if you get too far into the run, it kind of becomes a point where you have to come take tires as well. But if the caution falls at the right time for you, it can be a big-time play here late in this race. Wersler continues to lead, but it's only a quarter of a second over Johnny Avila. Caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack, and it's going to be for Mike McConville. AJ Digby may have gotten a piece of that as well. Let's take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. Man, just so easy to get a little bit too much throttle. Take a look at this one again. See the driving job by Tyler Seville. Oh, there was contact. Digby spins down to the infield. Oh, he does make contact with the inside Armco barrier. Tough break there for Mike McConville and AJ Digby. Digby may have actually gotten the worst end of things there. Will Wersler comes down pit road, but we have split strategies playing out here. Johnny Avila, Hunter Waters staying out on the racetrack, as do Brad Allison. Let's see, Richard Fletcher going to stay out on the racetrack as well. Also the 22 with Daniel Pinkston. They only had one set of tires left. The question became, when do you use them? We're going to see that happen now. Will Wersler going to win the race off of pit road, followed by AJ Digby. Tyler Seville, Troy Haight, Tim Knott. Mike McConville still on pit lane. So that may have damaged McConville. He's just getting out onto the racetrack now. May have caused a little bit more damage than we expected, but now Johnny Avila staying out on the racetrack. And Patrick, 5 cars might just be enough for Johnny Avila to get away with this.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. Any car that chose to take tires this time is going to be just a rocket ship.
Yeah, the question becomes, if you get a caution with 20 laps to go, do you stop if you're, Avila, Waters, Brad Allison? Maybe not at 20 to go, but 30 to go, yeah, you probably have to stop. It was sort of that window of you kind of had to come in. I'm quite frankly a little bit surprised we saw Avila and Waters stay out on the racetrack. If you're deeper in the field, absolutely. Stay out, get the track position, try something crazy. If you've got the raw pace, I don't see why you don't come down pit lane.
Maybe you're counting on a late race caution? A later race caution?
Man, that would make me nervous. Although that's why these guys are really good at this. Quite frankly, I'm not.
It's all just a gamble. The same way you go bet on a horse race or bet on a NASCAR race or bet on a football game. Crew chief's doing the same thing on the box, and you're doing the same thing as a driver, kind of picking your strategy. It's a little easier though. When you pit, you have 2 options: do you pit or you don't pit? So,
well, we'll see which of the strategy calls is going to play out better as the field comes around. It will be 42 laps to go here at New Hampshire. Johnny Avila, Hunter Waters on the front row. You at home, go ahead and crank it up. Johnny Avila able to grab hold of the lead, holding off Hunter Waters. Big time action back in the pack here, though, as things are starting to get a little bit spicy here the later we get in this one. You almost have to wonder, at least I do a little bit, Patrick, if you're one of these guys who did stop for tires, does the thought start to become, I gotta go at any point here, or are we still a little bit too early for that thought process?
I would say save them just a little bit longer, unless you know you can make the pass. If there's a guy right in front of you, you're on his bumper, absolutely go out there, make that pass. But if you're kind of catching someone, catch them a little slower. Take your time with it. Save the car. This way you can just pounce on them instead of fight them.
Which is so hard to do.
Oh yeah, because, when you're strapped into a race car, the brain goes out the window and you go back to your primitive instincts. Car in front of me must pass. But it takes so much more to be better than that. And you really got to go, car in front of me must pass later.
Eventually,
just add that
right.
one word to it. And you're infinitely a better race car driver. But that is so hard to do. I would say it's almost impossible.
I'll tell you what here, the battle's pretty good between Hunter Waters and Tyler Seville. Both of these guys putting on a pretty darn good show here. Now water starting to fall back into the grips of the 28 of Troy Haight. Oh man, Max Williams may have bounced it off the outside safer barrier. Excuse me, Tim Knott in the 41. Oh, McConville gonna make the dive on Hunter Waters into 3. At this point, the only car holding up towards the front of the field that did not stop, the 63 of Johnny Avila. He is about to be passed by Tyler Seville for second. There you can see the difference that 30-lap tires make. However, Johnny Avila's got to have a fresh set of stickers here late in this race. You just wonder, though, could it be too little too late unless he gets a caution flag here in the next 15, 20 laps?
I was going to say, if caution comes out like lap 130, he would be set. That is serious full send territory where you've got new rubber, everyone else doesn't. Go out and get him.
Yeah, everyone else would have very old rubber at that point, actually. That's the key factor, is you want your tires to be best when everyone else is at their worst. And AJ Digby down to the inside of Richard Smith. They're catching up on Hunter Waters as well. Hunter, unfortunately, right now... Oh, yeah, he bounced it off the wall. Oh, big spin for Tim Knott. Caution flag is out. Wow, what a piece of driving there. Couple of drivers barely avoiding Tim Knott's stopped race car. Tough break for Tim, but now it's going to really... Now the strategy game is coming into play here. If you're Johnny Avila, do you have to come down pit road this time?
I could say yes, and I could also say no. This is going to be up to him to determine his own fate. If he does what he's going to do, he's going to get shuffled back a little bit, but he has the driver behind the wheel and he'll have the tires to get to the front. On the other hand, if he stays out, he has the track position, but we see the choice he made, and let's see how it works out for him.
Yeah, and the other one here is that Avila, Digby, Hunter Waters, all these guys still have a set of tires in the box. They're going to be about 13 laps to the good, as opposed to Will Wersler, Tyler Seville, Troy Haight, and Mike McConville that stayed out on the racetrack. Where that makes a big difference is we saw the cliff is anywhere from 12 to 15 laps or so. This could be a game-winning or race-winning decision here for Avila and Digby. So Will Wersler holding on to the race lead. Tyler Seville, Troy Haight, Mike McConville falling in right behind. Let us know, who's your pick? Who's going to win it down here in the comments? Is it going to be one of these top four that stayed out this time? They've already made their final pit stop. Everybody else coming down to get four fresh sticker Goodyear Racing Eagles. Good look there at the Willoughby Roofing, number 29 of Will Wersler. Ever since he went to the all mostly silver paint scheme, Will Wersler has been lighting it up here once again in the Sim Racers Club. I can remember, what was it, a season and a half ago, Patrick? He actually told us he hates these cars. Things have gotten better since then.
I was going to say, a lot of people didn't like these cars when they first came out. And you can't really blame them. This was a huge change. I mean, even if you go to the Gen 6 car, it retained the same platform that NASCAR has had since that very first race on the sands at Daytona Beach. V8 up front, rear-wheel drive, H-pattern stick shift, solid rear axle. We've kept that 60, 70 years now, and we switched to an independent rear axle car, basically a road racing sports car with a NASCAR body on it. You no longer have the H-pattern stick shift, you got a sequential now. It was a massive change, but now that guys are starting to get used to it, I imagine we're going to have more people change their minds on these cars. And welcome to the 21st century, guys. Welcome to 1980, guys. This is the way racing is supposed to be.
The way it's been for a long time, and quite frankly, we're looking forward to the end of this run here. Is Will Wersler going to get the jump on Tyler Seville as they roll off down to turn number 1? Going to be Haight and Avila side by side. Johnny Avila trying to put them fresh tires to work. AJ Digby doing the same thing down on the inside of Mike McConville as well. I would imagine if you're the guys with fresh tires, this probably is go time a little bit. Only because you're going to have very good tires underneath you for only so long. Eventually, the wear starts to equalize a little bit. There might be a big difference between 100% and 90%, but maybe not as much between 85 and 70 as you get deeper in the run.
It depends on your skill level. That's one thing I noticed with our Fastmaster series over at TNT. When I first start practicing for a track and versus some of the not-so-talented guys there, if that 90 to 70 to 80 gap is very linear and equal. However, if you get really, really good, your 70 could be equivalent to someone else's 90. And vice versa, your 90 is equivalent to some of the slower guys' 100. So it does equal out to a point, but if you're a really, really good driver, you can absolutely use those tires. As we see some cars bouncing into each other, Mike McConville, was that him shoving his nose in there?
Yes, it was. Andrew Moore Jr. going to be back there as well, but I'm kind of keeping an eye at the front here because Johnny Avila's back down to the apron again. He wants Will Wersler. He wants the race lead. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Johnny, save some for everybody else, please, bud. In 11 starts, Johnny Avila has only one pole position, 6 wins, 10 top 5s. All 11 of his races have been inside the top 10. Absolutely insane what Johnny Avila's doing this season.
You have to remember, he's not just going to let people win now, and that's not because he wants to absolutely dominate this championship. He's already won the spring season. And yes, there's a summer season that this race does not matter for. However, there's still a year-long season he is racing for. So, even though he's already got the first half of the season locked down, he still has the full year to think about. So, I don't expect to see him back down here or at Pocono next week.
No, you really can't, because especially if you're going to have an instance where maybe you do have to miss a race or something along those lines, you've got to be dominant then. You really can't slack off whatsoever. Oh, man. Already, they're side by side, beating doors, swapping wraps there off of 2.
Now, I thought there was a rule in racing. You don't touch your teammate. You don't get into them. You don't bump them. Especially when they're the boss of your organization.
I think the rule is don't wreck your teammate. You can maybe get a little handsy with them. The HR department might have something to say about it, but you could get a little handsy with your teammates so long as you don't wreck them.
That's fair. WWR still is 1, 2, and 3.
As always, the Will Wersler Racing team is very, very impressive once again here tonight. Ordinarily, teams matter a little bit less when you run a fixed setup league like this, but when you practice as well as this team does together and all the data acquisition that they do, it absolutely makes a huge difference what team you're running with.
Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We need TWR to come in here, Team Watson Racing, because they might be the only guys that will absolutely double this grid with only their team that might be able to put up a fight to Will Wersler season long.
Oh, big contact!
Oh, man!
Seville and Moore go around. Seville got loose off of turn number 4. Tyler Seville, Andrew Moore into the outside safer barrier, outside concrete wall. Still here on this scan of New Hampshire. Off of turn number 4, we go back under the yellow flag with 19 laps to go. Keep your eye on the 11.
Just looks like he got loose off of 4 there. Yep, and just... Unfortunately, Andrew Moore was there. If he wasn't there, then Tyler Spill would have smacked the inside wall hard. Instead, he gets away relatively unscathed. Actually, it almost looks completely unscathed.
Almost.
Now, I just want to say, my comment about TWR is not a jab at any of the other teams here that put so much work in trying to win these races. Anyone who's in the know and knows TWR knows they will join a league, and then 6 other drivers will follow, and then like 15 of them, all painted in the exact same color, will come and follow. And they're
correct.
all like 7,000 iRating guys, like just under pro level. I'm sure any of them could make pro level if they really tried. So they come to leagues, absolutely dominate them, and piss everyone off, and the whole field is colored this radioactive piss.
Yes, that is the neon yellow color. That is the name of it. I think it's the first time we've ever said the name of the color on NRN.
No, it can't be.
Purple and teal. Yes, the Team Watson Racing colors are offensive to these senses, but they do show up with an armada of race cars.
I was gonna say, and they're that offensive of a color on purpose. Even James Watson himself will go, yeah, they're terrible to look at. They're ugly. But you can't help but look at them.
You know what? I think there's a challenge being thrown down here. Douglas Mullins saying, bring them. I agree. You know what? It's definitely good for the car count. I will say that. They are good for car count, and quite frankly, good for talent level too. But yeah, this is one of those leagues that, quite frankly, I think Sam, Jordan, they do a fantastic job putting this whole thing together. It would be fun to see some of the top tier teams come in here, because Will Wersler Racing, Tim Knott driving for Pixelated Sim Sports, there are quite a few good teams in here. The YJ Esports team, they just picked up Mike McConville. McConville is no slouch. High-Eyed Racing, there are some very good teams in the Sim Racers Club. These races would be abject insanity with 30, 35 car grid.
I'll try and work my magic with TWR. I know Bossman himself, James Watson, he has a scheduling conflict right at this time with another league. However, he's only got 80,000 guys on that team. I'm sure he'll be happy to send a bunch of them over and try and take y'all on at Pocono.
It would be fun, but
long as the admins are okay with bringing them along, then I'll send them over.
So we're doubled up here, and it is going to be 15 laps to go as of now, 14 to go when we get back to green flag racing. Oh man, Gauntlet is being thrown down. 3 WWR drivers cover anything they have. I like the confidence.
Man.
I like the confidence.
I'm screenshotting these comments, sending it over to TWR. They'll be here.
So, we're about to go absolutely crazy here. We saw this 1 week ago in Atlanta. The late race restart. Johnny Avila used the apron. He's not afraid to do it at either end of the racetrack. Is he going to do it again here to try to get an advantage? Maybe it's Hunter Waters or Mike McConville on the inside. Digby's going to be there as well. Green flag's back in the air. Good start for Johnny Avila. He will lead to turn 1. Waters down to the inside of Will Wersler. Oh, and we're right back under caution. Trouble again on the racetrack. Looks like trouble for Brad Allison. Let's take a look here at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, the 03 just hooked on corner entry. Quite frankly,
he wasn't off the course, though. He was just running the road course. There's no need for a caution there.
Well, I'm kind of surprised iRacing threw one anyway. He was way down on the inside of the racetrack.
He was running the road course.
Yeah. We thought we were going to go crazy before. Now we're really going to do it here with about 9 laps to go here when we go back to green.
Let's see who's listening to the broadcast here. On one of these pace laps, if you guys take that little chicane right there on the backstretch, I'll send you $10. Well, we'll try and catch some of the drivers out that are listening to us while we're racing.
We're now putting bounties on taking the shortcuts
taking the chicane
around the racetrack.
It is, that's what I do every lap here under caution. I run through that chicane. It's just fun to do. It's like the bus stop at Daytona.
I'll tell you what, it would be significantly cooler asphalt than where they are right now, too. It may not be much, but it might get you a little bit cooler tires.
It might cool the tires down. Oh, McConville almost went for it. I didn't see any takers there.
Coming around the outside, Max Williams will get one of his laps back. Still 11 laps behind the race leaders, though.
So, are you telling me we actually have an honest group of drivers that doesn't try to spy on one another here? And, see who we bring into the booth, asking their strategy? Because I don't believe that. I think all of these guys are just too scared to reveal that they are and run down that backstretch of cane.
Well, I say that could be a strategy thing that you don't want to give up. I mean, obviously, it's freely available for anybody to watch. And by the way, we appreciate you watching, all of you on YouTube and on Twitch. Hopefully, you're enjoying the show. Before this race comes to a conclusion, I'm going to throw the plugs out here we did early on in the show one more time. If you are so inclined, check out driven2savelives.org. Driven, the number 2, savelives.org. Consider organ donation, tissue donation, and what you would like your wishes to be should, quite frankly, the unthinkable happen. Make sure your family knows you can get the designation on your driver's license, on your ID card. Heal as many as 7 people and change the lives of potentially 100 others. Absolutely incredible thing that you can do.
Even if you smoke or drink and you think that your organs aren't going to be useful for something, yours, they may not be 100%, but they're way better than somebody's who aren't working, and you could absolutely still save lives. So just because you think you might not be eligible, everyone is.
Yep, but the tissue donations and everything else are very, very important today. The other one, we are assisting with disaster relief for those folks in eastern Kentucky that are experiencing biblical levels of flooding. Visit KY, like state abbreviation for Kentucky, ky.theweathercenter.com. Whole bunch of information there, how you can donate. Venmo at @theweather. We'll be down there through the end of the week. I believe there's 3 tractor trailers full of supplies, it sounds like, that are going to be heading down there. Incredible work by Peter, Clark, Oliver, the entire DeWeather team, Mission Control. We appreciate you. Thank you for your efforts. And Base Truck is in. We are getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Once again, Johnny Avila just gets a fantastic start. Hunter Waters gonna have to deal with Will Wersler. Wersler gonna hang tough on the inside of the racetrack. Mike McConville having the peak inside of AJ Digby. Oh man, there's several cars beating and banging here. We've got one bouncing off the safer barrier at the entrance to turn number 3. May have been Daniel Pinkston. But here comes Hunter Waters outside of Will Wersler. He's going to have the preferred line through 1 and 2. They make contact just a little bit. This fight going to let Johnny Avila open up about a 0.6 of a second lead as they head down the back straightaway. Give the shout to Will Wersler here. 37 laps on this set of tires now. They have well fallen over their cliff of useful life. At this point, though, you almost have to get in line and just turn laps here, Patrick, because Johnny Avila, that lead is now out over 1 second.
Yeah, you really got to have something in the bag to try and catch him.
It'll be 5 to go this time at New Hampshire. Hunter Waters still battling with Will Wersler. Wersler really drives it in deep. Waters going to try the crossover off of 2, but it's going to put Will Wersler back into the prime position by the time they get to 3. The strategy call for AJ Digby was a pretty darn good one as he sits there in the 4th position. Finally, Will Wersler able to clear Hunter Waters. That will settle down the battle for 2nd. But it may be too little too late here as they're going to go to work trying to catch Johnny Avila. Avila is 2.2 seconds ahead of Will Wersler. Waters again back to the inside of the racetrack. Almost enough to get the spotter to say inside.
And that's always fun, a really fun game to play. When you're the trailing car and you can get right up to the bumper of the car in front, really just getting in their head and you know you're playing with them.
Down to 2 to go, and well, it's the same story on the same bat time, same bat channel. Johnny Avila absolutely cruising. Hunter Waters, big move down to the inside into 3. Lower traffic up here just ahead, but the white flag is out. 1 lap to go for Johnny Avila. He's cruising. Nice, gentle on the throttle. Oh, and Hunter Waters is going to spin. He slides to the inside of the racetrack.
Oh.
Checkered flag goes in the air. And Johnny Avila will get the win at New Hampshire. Winner, lobster dinner. Andrew Moore Jr. going to be involved in the incident as well on the backstretch. Tim Knott may have been in it. Let's take a look here.
I think you were losing the New England accent there. You went to like a Western Brooklyn housewife accent.
Man,
Andrew
Morgan
slam.
That was Max Williams absolutely drilling Andrew
And you
Moore
saw that
Jr.
tire fly off, right? Suspend the crew chief and the guy who put that tire on.
Big contact there with Andrew Moore and Tim Knott. Oh my goodness. That's the first I've seen a tire fly off a next-gen car.
No, it's not. We've seen it every race since Daytona.
Well, I mean, on iRacing.
Oh.
Johnny Avila burning them down at the start-finish line. Fantastic night for Will Wersler Racing once again. Let's take a look at the result. Will Wersler Racing goes 1, 2, 3. Johnny Avila, Will Wersler, AJ Digby, Mike McConville, and Troy Haight, your top 5. 6 through 10, Tyler Seville, Hunter Waters, Corbin Simmons, Tim Knott, and Daniel Payson. Andrew Moore Jr., Richard Smith II, both finishing 1 lap down. 2 laps down in 13th is Brad Allison. 5 down in the 14th position is Richard Fletcher. Max Williams finishing 15th tonight, 11 laps down. And Kevin Dick rounding out the field, 59 laps behind your race leaders. Race that took about 1 minute and 37 seconds to complete. Nicky Wersler checking in the comments here. No surprise here. Cheering on Johnny Avila and WWR. Good run for that race team, and we are going to talk to them here in just a moment for our Victory Lane interviews. Let's bring in our race winner here tonight. We'll start the conversations off with him, Johnny Avila. Congratulations, champ. You win yourself a Sim Racers Club Premier Series championship and a big old lobster dinner here from New Hampshire. Well done, brother.
Thank you very much. It was a fun season, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's still got a week to go, which is all the more impressive. You missed a week and still claimed the title with, actually, you had it locked up going into tonight. So miss a week and still win a championship with 2 races to go. Tell us about the night tonight, though. This looked incredibly tricky to keep that car underneath you. Seemed like the oversteer on corner exit was very difficult to manage.
Yeah, it definitely caught me off guard. Like, halfway through the race, I think after like 20, 30 laps, I had like no right rear tire left, and I was just skating anytime I touched the throttle. It made it a lot of fun to drive, but also really challenging. Will had some crazy speed. I'm just glad I had more tires than him at the end.
Yeah, that seemed like that was the other thing that really came into play was the strategy call. I wondered if it was a mistake for you guys not to pit with 44 laps to go, whatever it was. Ultimately, you guys got the caution flag to come out again with 30, 31 to go. That really was the difference in having those just 10-lap pressure tires.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because the way these things got loose, it's having that fresh rubber, that grip to get off the corner meant so much. Unfortunately, the apron didn't work like it used to in the Gen 6 cars. I was trying so hard to get it to work tonight, but I couldn't find a groove for it.
Yeah, we saw that a couple of times, doing right on the opening start of the race, too. Absolute bonsai into turn 1. I love the call. I love the aggression. How do you balance that desire of I want to be really aggressive with this while at the same time knowing that you're gonna cook your tires off if you do it?
Pray, but right there at the start, just shit talking. I messaged McConville. I'm like, yo, I'm taking you 3 wide. So I had to go full send. I'm a man of my word.
Of course, that's freaking awesome, dude.
Oh, I love it. We're talking smack before the green flag even drops. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, Johnny, it was a heck of a season for you. Congratulations on picking up another Sim Racers Club championship. A button box coming to you courtesy of SimSpeedShop.com. Man, well done once again. Just a fantastic season.
Thank you very much. I got to thank all my teammates because lately with the Road to Pro stuff, I'm just coming into these races completely blind. So they've been giving me a lot of info, like pretty in depth on what I need to do, how to drive it, and like what'll go on. So I got to thank all of them a lot because I wouldn't be able to perform the way I am without them, especially with the teamwork that we have on the tracks that require a lot of drafting. And also, I want to just welcome Daniel Pinkston. He's going to be joining our team for the next season, so that'll be fun and exciting.
Oh yeah!
Wait, there you go.
Before we let Johnny Vila go, I just want to say, you remind me of like Larry Bird. I know he's before my time, but just talking smack like, yeah, I'll shoot a 3 right here, just straight up to the defender, and then just walking around him shooting a 3 right over his head. Like, yeah, I just did that.
Mike and I, we talk a little smack here and there. It's all fun though. So it's a great
awesome
league to be part of.
I'll tell you what, I will agree with you on that, Johnny. And before we let you go here, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in as well.
No, I gotta thank Bulldog Roof Ricks. They got this big old bulldog on this car. I'm making sure to give it enough TV time to make them proud. And yeah, I gotta thank you guys up in the booth because the fact that we can sit back, watch this race back with such high quality makes it so much more enjoyable. This way, friends and family, they might not be the most into racing, but the product that you guys deliver really make it enjoyable for everybody. And got to thank all the league admins that put this together because things get crazy, but they always keep us in check.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate those very, very kind words. Flattering, quite frankly. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And now it's time to talk to our race runner-up. The Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal, I believe it is. Number 29 Ford Mustang, piloted by Will Wersler. Man, that battle with Hunter was tight there down at the end. Congratulations on it. Oh, well, let's see. Looks like we lost Will. So let's bring in. Oh, no, here he is. I just forgot to unmute him. Will, congratulations. That was a hell of a drive out there at a very well-earned second place finish.
Yeah, man, it was a fun race. I like the way the setup was handling, and it was a fun drive. It obviously was kind of guessing game with when to take your last set of tires, and I guessed wrong, and Johnny and Hunter guessed right. But I mean, second place again, you know.
Did I hear that right?
What's that?
You like the setup on the car. You went from hating this car, now you finished second in this thing multiple times now.
Yeah.
I know we ask you this all the time, but digging it now?
I am digging it now. I don't know what it was they changed before the Kansas race, but it was like flipping a light switch, and it's all coming back to me now. It's suiting my driving style for whatever reason, and I feel like I can be competitive week in and week out, and it's a lot more fun now.
Hell yeah, you sound a lot happier too, so that's a good sign.
Yes,
I'll tell you what, it was a fun battle to watch you have with Hunter there down the stretch as well. Obviously, not wanting to see Hunter go out the way he did, and with having the spin-off of 2, but you guys were truly door-to-door battling for the last 10, 15 laps of this race.
Yeah, and knowing what I know now, I really wish I just let him have it so that he could try to, see what he could do with Johnny. I had a stupid idea in my head that even though I know him and Johnny had fresher tires. I was still just going to try to push past Hunter and see if I could gain anything and give Johnny a run for his money. And that once I got there, it was obviously not going to happen when I got in second. And at that point, I realized I kind of screwed Hunter out of any shot to win. And then, but at that point, there was also nothing to do but race for second. And so I did. And obviously, at his expense there at the end, I really don't know what happened. I watched the replay, still don't know what happened. So
I'll tell you what.
Hoping it wasn't my fault.
No, it looked like the same kind of problem that several drivers had. In fact, you had it once off of turn 4 while leading. This car would get snappy loose, almost without any kind of warning. That has to be a little bit difficult to drive from a sim perspective when you don't have the same seat of the pants feeling that you might in a real-world car.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely got, when I had my spin, I was getting ready to enter 3, and Richard Fletcher kind of coordinated with me and said, what lane do you want me in? I said, go high. And I overcompensated a little and went just a little too low. And if you just hit that bottom lane just right on entry, it will rotate the car a little bit. And if you're not anticipating that rotation, especially with however many laps I had on my tires, it over-rotated a car, and when I touched the throttle, there was just nothing I could do with it. I kept counter steering, and before I knew it, I was mowing the lawn and gave up a lot of positions in the stage win.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great recovery drive. The strategy seemed to play out pretty decent in your favor tonight. Maybe not the optimum race-winning one, but still pretty decent on the strategy calls. All in all, great night for you, Will. Congratulations. And Johnny, in his Victory Lane interview, credited the team with most of the championship, saying with his Road to Pro stuff, he really had to come into a lot of these races blind, and it was the data and the information sharing that you guys were doing. That speaks volumes about the program over there at Will Wersler Racing. It's a hell of an organization you have, and congratulations again on a team owners championship as well.
Appreciate it, sir. Got to thank my wife for watching my races, giving me support, and her friends from her work that have been watching my races, and my friends from Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal. Got to thank Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal, all my teammates, and you guys in the booth, and then Sam and the two Jordans for the league they put on. Appreciate everybody.
All right, well, thank you much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here, and now we got our third place finisher tonight, a guy we talked a lot about because, quite frankly, we weren't sure what the heck was going on at times. But AJ Digby there when it mattered. Again, the strategy call absolutely spot on, pretty much spot on to pick up a top 3 finish.
I told you, he was doing the reverse commentator's curse there.
Yes, and we talk about him a bunch and say, I don't know what he's doing, and that's going to be the right call. Ultimately, it probably was for you tonight. Congratulations on a nice third-place finish there, AJ.
Thank you, yeah. It was a good result for the 14 team. New Hampshire is not my cup of tea, to put it the least. So I knew I was decent on a long run, but I had no short-run speed, and that showed in qualifying for sure. And so I knew that I needed a little bit of something off strategy. So like I said in that break, decided to kind of save tires in the first stint before the stage, and then didn't take tires at the stage and had an extra set. And so I would say if it went green from a certain point, I might have been able to get up to the lead because I was the only one on fresher tires at that point. But the way it played out didn't work out that way. But all in all, I mean, third or fourth, wherever I would have finished, is much better than where I probably deserved to be based on pure pace. But luckily in racing, it is not all about pure pace. So I was able to strategize my way into a little bit of clean air and fresher tires, and then use that to my advantage and hold on and end up third. Feel bad for Hunter getting loose there off the last corner up in front of me, but I'll take the third place finish and be really happy with the podium as always.
Well, I'll tell you what, bud, a fantastic run as always. Pretty good points night for you here as well. Probably might even move you up into maybe a shot at the top 5 points anyway. But congratulations on a very good season to this point. One more coming up next week at Pocono. And before we let you go, get all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, well, thanks. First of all, just wanted to say that it's hard to make up point result standings when you're kind of playing on this weird strategy like I am, because I don't get a lot of stage points out of it. But obviously, I'm putting myself up in a chance to win the race in the end. So I feel like I've chased points for so long that this season and previous seasons that I was like, you know what, we're gonna go all out and try to get some race wins. So I was able to get one last week and give myself a chance this week on strategy. So got to thank Custom Paints and Diecast for the rocket ship. As always, one of my favorite cars I've ever ran. So I'm very blessed with that. Got to congratulate Johnny on the win. Congratulate Will on second. He was quick all night. Hunter, Tyler, Richard, and Daniel Pinkston were also pretty quick as well. So, and got to thank those guys keeping spirits up. And they were joking that Ferrari might need to be calling my number to get me to strategize for their team. So,
I don't do that. I'm a Red Bull fan. I as long as Ferrari's doing bad in the pits, I'm okay with that.
So yeah, it was ultimately a good day. Thank you guys up in the booth for the great calls. I'm as always excited to watch this race back. Thanks to Sam and the Jordans for everything that they do for the league, and everybody in it for the great racing as always every week. So and everybody who was watching, thanks for your support, and hopefully see you guys next week at Pocono.
Looking forward to it, AJ. Thank you very much for hanging out with us here. And man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, maybe a little bit more than I expected in terms of caution flags, but when the car can be that difficult to drive, it's kind of an inevitable that you're going to have some of those. But man alive, that was a fun race to watch.
That's what makes the new Gen 7 car so great, is it's very on edge. Where the Gen 6 car kind of was, it was a very loose car, but it was very, very savable. Where this thing is, you step over the line and you stepped over it. There's no turning back. And that makes it a lot of fun because these drivers are giving it everything they've got, but try not to make a mistake. And occasionally we see them make that mistake, where before they would kind of just bobble, get a little loose, save the car, and keep on trucking. Now it's a lot more apparent when they make those mistakes, and it's a lot more detrimental.
You know what? I am not against a race car that you would say is penal. You should not be able to make big mistakes in a race car.
No, it's why the Lotus 49, I would consider that the golden era of racing, that 68, 69 season F1, where you had to have balls to drive it. You had to drive it on the edge, and that thing would probably kill you. Now, today's cars probably won't kill you. However, they're going to kill you in the points, and you're going to wreck some race cars. And that's the allure of driving a race car. It's something that your ordinary person driving a Nissan Altima shouldn't be able to do.
Yes, to quote Ken Squire, the great Ken Squire, common men doing uncommon things. That very much in evidence here tonight at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway and all season long with the Sim Racers Club. One more race coming up next week. I will likely not be in the booth for that one. It may be Patrick handling play-by-play. We'll see. Maybe we'll get someone with talent to handle the play-by-play once for the Sim Racers Club instead of me. But yeah, looking forward to it. One more week in Season 1 coming up here for the Sim Racers Club. Next week, it'll be 70 laps at the Pocono Raceway. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the High Side Hustle at 7 p.m. Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright. They're going to be talking everything sprint car racing. It is Knoxville Nationals time. Oh, it's going to be awesome. We will get to this comment in a second. But good show tomorrow night with Burt and Adam for Dylan Cisney coming up on the High Side Hustle. And then we are going to have the Indy Pro 2000 Championship wrapping up our broadcast week at 10:15 in the East. Once again, we're going to give them the shout out. Check out ky.deweathercenter.com, deweathercenter.com. Those guys are doing, and ladies are doing, some absolutely incredible work for the people in Eastern Kentucky that are being ravaged by floodwaters. A whole lot of effort going into this stuff. Literally
less than a year after being ravaged by tornadoes.
Yes, we were down in Mayfield, Kentucky in December of last year on the western side of the state. This is on the far eastern side of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But they've been down to Slidell, Louisiana, Waverly, Tennessee, basically where people need help. The folks of Eastern Pennsylvania are there to help. Check them out, ky.dweathercenter.com. One more comment to get in here, only because it is so time appropriate. Mike McConville, can we get these Wersler cars to post-race tech? Rumor has it top 3 got DQ'd. I am the winner.
They had tape on the front nose.
I was going to say they ran a little bit too much tape on the monitor bezels to close those gaps off. Make sure we get those cars through the tech line. All right, we're getting out of here. This was a fun show. We got more coming up for you tomorrow night. Don't miss any of it. But until then, time to go. For Patrick Byrne and everybody else here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.